Hey everyone, I've been waiting to come across a rooted cutting like this so I could show this concept for a while. Not that it's rocket science, but sometimes it's nice to just see it done. Anyways, this was laying down flat in one of my rooting chambers so that I could get maximum heat on the fig pop. And it put on a ton of foliar growth that hasn't been exposed to light yet. While it was in the chamber, I hadn't checked it in about a week, which I should have. But anyways, the way it's growing right now, if I were to pop this straight up and down, it's going to grow off to the side and it'll eventually turn back up, but it's going to have kind of a funky base. Oh, I'm going to step inside, rainstorm. It's going to have kind of a funky base. Planted traditionally. So anyways, I'm going to plant this thing sideways. I'm going to put this in a 7-gallon pot, and the only thing sticking out is going to be that growth right there. So, yeah, I'll kind of demonstrate how it's done, and everything else that's underneath the soil line, including the rest of these nodes here, these will also all send out roots at some point. So, yeah, I'll set the camera up, and we'll get this thing potted up, and you guys can see how it looks when it's done. This thing will be nice and plumb, and no one would ever know what's underneath the top of the soil. So, all right, see you guys in a moment. All right, guys, I've got my big old 7-gallon pot of soil and got some extra soil off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and get this thing into the pot. Once again, I don't like sliding. I don't like just taking the rubber band out and sliding this out of the bag. They always fall apart. I'll say most of the time they fall apart. At least for me, they do. So I'm going to do this kind of slit method again on the side. See if I can save this rubber band, because there's too much plastic in this world as it is. Plastic and rubber. Alright, I've got my rubber band off. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to be laying it down this way, is I'm going to make a slit along the bottom of the actual bag, avoiding any roots down there, which there are a couple. Just like so, opening up the whole thing. And then I'm also going to make a slit along this underside as well, so that when I set it down in here, I can just lift the bag right over the top. So this, I don't know, I tell people this all the time, and figs are huge babies when they're young like this, when they have young roots. But if you can keep them alive and happy for their first, I don't know, 6 months or a year or so. After that, they go from a really temperamental and fussy plant to something that's really tough to kill and vigorous. So that's why I'm so careful with a lot of this stuff. I know it probably seems like some of this is overboard, but if I can get my success rate going, success rate percentage up using some of these little techniques, it's worth it to me, because I get, but if I get 20% extra survival rate, that's just more trees. More trees for me to either trade, sell, give away, and yeah, I'm not wasting so much time. So anyways, I've got that slit, you can see, all the way along the bottom, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to grab the camera, I'm going to show you what this looks like. Let's see. Hopefully that shows it there, guys. So I'm going to grab it there, and I'm just going to gently pull that bag away. You can see how tender those roots. There's actually not that many roots sticking through, but the one thing that I am noticing, take a look, I have roots here, I have roots here, and I have roots down here at the bottom. And so what that's telling me is that the nodes of this cutting are typically what push out the roots, right? They don't seem to form in between nodes. They push out right where the nodes are. So that's telling me that there's roots pushing out of multiple nodes. And even though there's not many on there, because I haven't really disturbed them very much at all, there's no reason for this plant to go into major shock and want to die on me. So I'm going to kind of just adjust this up like this, and now I'm just going to go ahead and cover this up. This is nicely saturated soil. It's a potting soil mix that I make, and we've had a couple of nice rainstorms the last couple of days, and this has been sitting outside on a wooden shelf, so it's gotten nice and saturated. I'd say it's kind of at field capacity. It's not too wet, but this is about perfect. This is the way I like it. So sorry guys, trying to do this one-handed. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Like I say, this isn't rocket science, but sometimes if you haven't seen it done before, you might just wonder whether or not it's even possible. And I come to you today to tell you that if you've had this thought before, it is indeed possible. So I'll get a little mulch on top here soon, but yeah, now obviously it's got a little bit of a bend in it, but that thing's gonna grow nice and straight. Can have a nice straight trunk with a nice base. In fact, I don't know, when this is a little stronger, I'll probably pop this bottom leaf off right there, and then I'll train this nice and straight and shape it from there. But anyways, yeah, you'd never know that there's a sideways cutting underneath the soil, but that thing here in the future will continue to put out roots. And kind of like tomato plants, you know, the more you bury, the more roots you get, and the more roots you get, the more foliage you get. So anyways guys, I hope this is kind of neat to see. Maybe it helps someone. Maybe it confirms your suspicions on whether or not you can do this. And hope everybody's doing super well out there. All right guys, take care of yourself. All right, be well. Peace.